Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. Oops.
Hi. Good afternoon. We're
time zone snafus.
hi. Good afternoon, IX ambassadors. We are happy to see you. If you're joining us live, I hope you're somewhere safe because the weather is garbage. I'm just going to go ahead and take a few minutes to express my thoughts and feelings about the weather.
I'm gonna turn on some of your lights.
So I'm not going to complain. What's happening right here? Okay. I'm not going to complain just for myself because there are people in other parts of the world who have more snow and who have more cold. But I'm not going to complain just for myself. I'm going to complain for everyone, the greater population of all of us who are dumb enough to stay in these cold places. This shit is obnoxious. I am so over this cold. It is -5. That is dumb. It's not even supposed to snow when it's this cold and it's snowing too. Ugh.
It actually is here. It's literally 0 degrees, and we're getting like 6 inches of snow today. So that whole "it's too cold to snow" thing is a lie. It's a dirty lie.
It's a dirty lie.
It's a dirty lie.
Okay, I'm over it. Just I had to throw that out there.
She just got back from Phoenix. As I don't think I mentioned that on the live last week, but she was in Phoenix. So
I was in Phoenix, and it was lovely. Don't have to shovel sunshine. That's what they say down there. It rained all day on Sunday, and I wasn't even. I mean, I was uncomfortable because I was outside, but it was like still not cold. Ugh. Okay. Woosah. I'm fine now.
good.
Yep.
That's
See,
good.
so I just showed you how to use the experience cube. The observable data is that we have to do this live, and that my attitude is garbage because it's cold outside. So I express my thoughts and my feelings so I can give those space and put them where they need to go because I want this live to be great, like all the rest of them.
Like it is.
So,
okay.
You're welcome. Extra free advice for today.
Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, so today we're going to talk about values. Your own core values, organizational core values, what they mean, why they're important, and how do you do it? So I think the article that Michelle posted this week is creating a value statement that sticks. And where I'll start with all of this is that a lot of times organizations, particularly those ones who have some sort of stakeholder interest or have stakeholders who have interest in the company, whether that's financial or an executive board, you tend to write your mission statement or your value statement to appease those groups of people so that they're hearing things that they want to hear, so you feel like you're living up to the goals that you've set and the goals that you've committed to with those groups of people. That's not all bad, but if you think about what the point really is of having a value statement for your organization, you don't set values for other people's interest. You set them for the interest of the people inside the company who are making things happen, the people who are making sure there's a quality product or service being delivered, and that shelves are stocked, and customers are happy, and no complaint goes unanswered. So when you write a value statement that sticks, you have to first think about who do you want it to stick to. And it should be sticky, thought-provoking, engaging to the people that are actually working in your organization, not people external to your organization. So if you are working in an organization in a leadership role and you already have a value statement, you might want to pull it out and evaluate it and see exactly to whom are the words directed. Another way to think about this, because sometimes it seems like, well, if people external to my company are happy, wouldn't people internal to my company be happy? Yeah, I mean, you could maybe argue that, but if you think about it in a different way and you think about how you've set your own core values, well, would you set the core value of let's say, running as a really important core value to you if it actually wasn't, but it was important to someone else who is an external stakeholder in your life. So if I'm writing my core values, and let's say Rachel, who's a very important external stakeholder to my life, of course you are very important, right? It's true. That's why I took a life insurance policy out on you without telling you.
Good to know. So now everyone else knows you heard it here.
Yeah, right. I better make sure
I disappear.
I make sure I have an alibi all the time.
Right, exactly.
So if I put down, if Rachel says, listen, I really want one of your core values to be running. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but I don't really know if I want it to be. And she's like, yeah, but I really think that's important. That's how, that's when you're the most productive. That's when you have the best innovative thoughts and ideas. And I'd say, yeah, I know, but I mean, it's not like a core value for me. And I wrote it down anyways. Is that serving me or my organization in that context? No, it's serving Rachel and her organization. And so
always my intention.
Yeah.
To your values serve me.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the same sense, you would write your organizational values then to serve external people. You would write them to serve the internal people, because those are the people that actually get things done in your organization and make sure that you're successful. So that's really the most important first thing. That's the first important thing. There'll be like 7 other important things that I say, apparently, because at least 7. So that's the first really important thing when you're thinking about values is to whom do you want them to be sticky, or for whom do you want them to be sticky? Would you add anything to that?
I might. Here, we need to turn off our phone. There you go. I don't know how to do that for yours. I'm going to make sure my ringer's off because mine is on because I was on a bad road today. I guess another thing, a way that we use values a lot is because the value statement of an organization can be, to Meg's point, much more about the organization, the executive team, whoever designs them, right? We're working with one organization whose sort of values were derived through marketing and how they want to be perceived in the marketplace. But a lot of times when we do value statements with organizations or as an exercise with teams and people, it's because we want to know what they want their organizations about. Like what Meg was alluding to, what is it about what's going on here that we want to be beholden to? That's the other trick, is that it's not just putting the words on paper or whatever in a graphic. It's all about what are the behaviors then are we going to, what are the behaviors that we associate with those values? So it goes one step beyond, we believe in integrity. Yeah, well, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean from a behavioral standpoint? What does that mean that you're going to come to work tomorrow and do differently than you may have done today because you have a clear idea of how you want your internal experience to develop and to be. So when you think about creating your own value set, whether it's your own or your team's values, we do a lot of team value development. You also have to remember that you're going to be beholden and accountable both to yourself and to your team about these things. So that's one way to, when you're thinking about creating.
Yeah, and I think it's good to get input from the entire organization or key employees, key talent about what those values should look like. Doesn't mean that you have to make them whatever the whole organization says. Certainly not suggesting that. That can create a real mess. What is really important to think about, though, is how the different groups within your organization interact with each other. Can't see my finger. With each other, with your external stakeholders, whether that's your client, your executive board, just people on the street, and what really is their role in success. So as an example, if you're a public-facing company, so let's say you serve clients, but you have an IT department. Well, if quality customer service is one of your values as an organization, then how does that actually resonate with those IT people, right? So if they come to work every day and their client is actually your employee, your other employees, because they're making sure that computers work and systems work and software works, how does that quality customer service actually show up for them or resonate with them? Chances are it doesn't. So it's your job then to make sure that there's a way that they understand how their actions and how their job is rolling up into that value. And so if I'm the IT person, I say, well, how in the heck am I supposed to guarantee quality customer service? I don't talk to the clients. Then you would say, well, Joe, if it's Joe, well, Joe, you help Pam and Sue and all the people in every department every day make sure that their computers are working. If their computers are working, their printers are working and all those things, they can get paperwork out to the clients faster. And if they get paperwork out to the clients faster, then we have better customer service. So it's important that you can get feedback. You should get feedback about what values make sense. But if they don't make sense for everyone, make sure that you can tie them back to every department. If you can't do that, then perhaps that isn't actually a value for your organization. If you don't know how to do that, but you think that there's a way you should be doing it, then you should get some help, like call Rose Group. Just saying.
That's right. You can help figure all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Well, and what's really fun too is to also try to figure out how your personal values align with the organization. So we're all running around with our own value set, and that's a real challenge to determine. Sometimes it's really funny because usually like one or two are really obvious, maybe three, but we usually have to figure out four, and that fourth one's always kind of tricky. Like Rose Group has 4 values.
I know them.
I know them too. You want me to say them?
Yeah, to go. I mean, I was not challenging you. I only say I know them because I've taught I've been teaching the last couple weeks, so right.
So our 4 are people are first, put people first, internal people first. We provide high value, we have fun, and we give back. Those are our 4. And when we say give back, like philanthropically give back. And so when we think about our own personal values, it's always, for us, it makes a little more sense because we created those when we were a very small team. And so we literally all had input into what those 4 values were. But for those of you who work at a big organization, think about how your values align with those of your organization. And so that's a really interesting question because I know some of you on the call have worked in organizations that you haven't felt aligned with. And then, and sometimes that's just a gut feel, but you can actually do quite a bit. You can do quite a bit of intentional alignment, values alignment work by deciding where you are on your own values and then figuring out where your company values are. I did a really interesting exercise where we talked about, we did individual values on our own. It was a very short session, so we didn't have time to do a lot of this work. But everyone think about their 4 values, and then they were having a group event like 2 days later. And so I said what they should do in 2 days is to create their team value structure. Excuse me. But when I was there with just the people working, and they were doing their own, I just asked them sort of offhand. I said, well, what do you think some of your company's values are? And they really didn't know. They said hard work, because of course they're all working stupidly hard, and hard work, and I forget what the other one was, but things that were like not really values, just like this is the way we do business. And so I think it's, even though we talk about value and mission and all that stuff, and sort of a lot of times those things are created, they don't mean anything. I think it's really important that you think about how your values align very explicitly. And if they don't align, think about why that is and if that's really the organization for you. Because if you care about people and you want to make people's lives better, and the organization you're working for just cares about the bottom line and they don't care if they screw people to get money, then guess what? Probably no, I don't want to work there. So, and we see this trend in the marketplace all the time. I mean, we see, companies that have social messages are becoming more popular, especially with millennials and younger generations. They're all about social context and what you're doing the broader world. And so I think it's going to become more and more important about how to connect your own personal values with your company and even those that you spend, even those companies you spend money with.
Yeah, on another context on that front about your personal values and how they roll up into your organization is to think a little bit about your culture type and the industry that you're in, and then the values are likely going to be sort of potentially driven by that industry if it's a certain industry type. And so that's something to think about. So an example, this article I wrote, the value statement or three values for Facebook are: be bold, focus on impact, move fast.
Oh yeah.
So who wouldn't fit into Facebook? One of these things is not like the other, like they say on Sesame Street. Stabilizers.
Doing something.
Yeah. So
Be bold, focus on impact, move fast.
Stabilizers and organizers may really feel crazy at Facebook. They'll go home or be having a drink with your friends on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, I just hate working for Facebook. It's awful. They're always changing things. We never really know what's going on. Blah blah blah. They're always pushing the envelope, and Mark Zuckerberg is just like, hey, well, this is kind of what we're here for. Like, don't care if you like it or not. That guy doesn't care about social norms or political norms or any of that stuff. Yeah, that would all be true, and that would all be right, and that would all be fine if you said that to him. I would imagine to his face, because that's how he built the company, and that was the intention of the organization, is actually to push the envelope. And so it's important to think about your culture type and what kind of an industry you're in. On the flip side, if you're, a chaos tolerant person and you're in an organization who, let's see if either one of these. Yeah, so here's one. Ben and Jerry's ice cream. They have two. We strive to minimize our negative impact on the environment. We strive to show a deep respect for human beings inside and outside our company and for the communities in which they live. Okay, so those are both really great values, except for if you're a fixer or an independent, chaos-tolerant person, those might seem like, oh my God, that's so boring, or it seems like it's going to take us forever to do that, or is that really too big of a value? We want to make sure we're not making a negative impact on the environment? Yeah, right. How are we going to do that? I don't have time to wait for that to happen. And also, if you're a fixer or a stabilizer, you probably like this organization because it's all about the environment, giving back to the environment, or taking care of the environment, giving back to communities, the company, all those things. And maybe as a self-driven person, independent or organizer, you might say, boy, I don't not care about those things, but that is really not on my radar. And you guys are always talking about having barbecues together or volunteering for United Way again. I did it once this year. Doesn't make me a jerk if I don't want to do it again. So be thinking about that in your culture type and how your preference for working and living shows up against the values of an organization. Another thing I would say, so flip back to the organizational side, and if you're thinking about the values that you're creating for an organization or ones that already exist and how do they show up, some organizations have like 10 values. And of course they're like, it's like they just took the 10 commandments and made them each into one word.
Everything.
It's everything.
Everything.
We're going to be integrous. We're going to provide quality customer service. We're going to take care of the community. We're going to do everything. Well, every organization, of course, is always striving to do their best everything. But what's the saying about
I'm getting the list.
Everything to everyone is nothing to no one.
Right.
And so if you try to be too many things or try to make too many things a goal, a couple things are going to happen. One, you're never going to get it done. And two, your people are going to be so overwhelmed about trying to even remember all those things. Not that they don't want to do them, or that's even hard. I mean, chances are most people are doing these things most days. But if they're trying to keep track of that, and especially if you set your values as part of your employee performance or employee review process at the end of the year or mid-year, and they've got to look through all that whole list of 10 values and say, well, is Johnny being integrous? Yes. Is Johnny doing this? Is Johnny doing that? I mean, it's just too much. It's too cumbersome. I would say not more than 4. I mean, as an example, these large and very successful organizations, one has 2, the other one has 3, and they're very compact. Be bold. That's it. Be bold. And it says enough to actually mean something to those employees. So I would caution you that if you already have a bunch, or if you're starting a business and you haven't set your values yet, be thinking about what you want the meaning to be and how many there are. The other thing, just quick side note, here's one of my pet peeves. It's like, one of them is be accountable, and the next one is understand accountability, and the next one is something else that says accountability. Oh, for God's sakes, it's just one, accountability. Like, don't do that. That's ugly.
Who has pet peeves about values?
Yeah, I do.
And the other thing to remember is that they don't have to be perfect, right? So I was working with a team and the other day, and we're just brainstorming, and these are all organizers. They don't like brainstorming anyway. A little side note about culture types. So most of the humans in this organization are organizers. They got rid of all of their whiteboards because they don't do brainstorming. Hello. I was like, what is happening? Not a whiteboard in any conference room anywhere. They have big monitors so they can do PowerPoints, but those are prepared and everyone knows what's going to happen and all that stuff. But no whiteboards. So I had to get like the big Post-it sticky notes and try to do things. That's why.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that crazy?
Man.
I know, right?
Our shit works.
I know, our shit works. So what we did is it was pretty messy, but these 4 things they came up with is they feel like they need to focus on having the internal health of the organization be a priority, because right now we feel like all the focus is outside and then all the staff is just getting dumped on. And so that's one of the things. They wanted their internal experience to take priority over to everything else. They want communication to be better, good communication. They want opportunity for development and growth. And then their 4th one is they want to be the best. They want to have high quality, be the best organization in town that's similar to them. And so, that doesn't really make a lot of, it doesn't look pretty on a postcard or on the wall yet, but it was just the first thing that I had in a half hour. We said, what's really important to you deep down to make you what do you want this place to look like for you? What are the values you want to bring? And then support. And then of course we talked about behaviors, but it's really important. So much of this stuff, you feel like there's a recipe or the right way, or if it doesn't look good, or if it doesn't there's not all the same verb tense, then it's not right. It's like, for the organizer people in the room, organizer stabilizers, Bob, and is there any other ones on here? No, I don't know. Not at the moment. I think they're all chaos people at the moment. But I know Terry comes back and watches these. She said
Terry.
So, they don't have to be perfect. It just doesn't have to have all verbs. It doesn't have to be action oriented. It doesn't have to be any of those things. We have something coming in front door.
It's not Santa Claus.
It's not Santa. Hi, honey. I'm home. Honey's home. Okay, so Chloe's home. We're on Facebook. So anyway, don't worry about being perfect. Just worry about it trying to reflect your gut feel. And then over time you can refine it, because, Bob needs to refine things. So it has a plan.
And we love him for that. We will make love.
But so anyway, so just don't let the good, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good here. When you think about yours, and in fact, you should do that right now. You should actually have a little assignment for them to go.
Oh, I got me.
Oh, she's got one of mine. She's the trainer extraordinaire. She does all the workshop.
Oh yeah, we are not saying training. Workshopping. She's a workshopper extraordinaire. That sounds horrible. We'll figure that out. We'll get back to you on that one. But taking any votes or any suggestions
Labels.
For head of workshopping?
Head of work.
That sounds like I'm an elf.
It sounds awesome. Oh, see, uh-huh.
IOFS
Is
represent.
that, yeah, independent organizer, fixer.
Oh.
stabilizer.
Oh, we have an acronym.
Yeah, we have an
Right,
acronym. That's right. Well, all of our bespoke culture tech reports.
Yeah.
have that in there.
Let's see, what am I?
Your
IFSO.
IFS. No, you have the IFOS.
Oh, IFOS.
Yeah, yeah. I am FI. That's the.
If you guys want to know what your four culture type percentages are, you should find our most recent advertisement that's somewhere, Rachel will tell you. And you can get your bespoke culture type report.
I think it's like $20 or something. Anyway, it's pretty cool. So anyway, back to values. Back here. Okay, I will just hand it over to you because if you have an assignment for.
Yes.
for them.
So you say. Nice information that you've shared with us, Meg and Rachel. Really appreciate it. Doesn't tell me. I'll tell you. Doesn't really tell me how to actually do it. So, oh man, I remember this was when I was working at the mine, and we had to think about creating a mission, vision, values, whatever, set of statements. And I did my research. I did lots of homework. I am. I learned all about the difference between a mission statement and a vision statement. And then, oddly enough, values aren't covered very much. I thought that was sort of strange. But I even though I sat down and I wrote out 15 different options for mission statement, and then I changed the words and all the things so it could also be the vision statement, but was more visionary and not so much strategic and mission focused. And even once I got all that done, that didn't really feel like it was hitting the mark. And I'd go to the other people I was working with, I'd say, what do you think of this? That doesn't really hit the mark. So I thought, well, how in the world? I don't even know how to create this. And I actually did the research. I was being paid for this. I just didn't do it for fun or to see if I was actually happy at work. So it's really a lot of work to do this correctly. So we're going to teach you a little bit about how to do it correctly, so you have a good baseline. So values are really a baseline for what your vision is going to be, and then those two things together create a mission statement. So you can build this kind of a strategic approach to business, a mission statement, out of your vision statement, which is kind of the what's going to happen in the next 3, 5, and 10 years, or what do we want that to feel like, and the values that are tied to that and in front of that sort of anchor you in why did we start what we're doing in the first place. So, your homework.
I gotta do it too. Do you want me to hold it?
Okay, that's much better. Okay, so this is a values crest. God, I'd never make it a fan of. This is a values crest. So it's just like a name crest, if you have a family name or what have you, and it's got the 4 different things, 4 core values that are really important to you. And so you can sit down with yourself, and we use an evaluator tool, a core values evaluator tool. It has 15 or 16 questions on it. And those questions range anywhere from what's one of your greatest failures and what did you learn from it, to what's something that what are values other people have that you really can't stand. What are 3 things about your values that you love? What are things you don't like? What values do you have now that you wish you would change? And so it really, really picks apart who you are, helps you to pick apart who you are at the core. So if you do an exercise like that, then you can put down what your core values are. And once you figure out what your core values are, you can sit down with your team and say, well, gosh, what are your guys' core values? And then it helps you create team, departmental, organizational goals. That's another important thing. A lot of times when we do this with groups of people, they say, well, gee, I'm one in a team of 20, and that team of 20 rolls into the department of 50, and that department of 50 rolls into an organization that's part of 20,000 people. They're like, well, my goals don't really, my personal core values don't matter. Or even if we set some as a team or department, they don't matter. But they really do. They really do. And chances are they're not going to go against any of the value statements that are already out there for your organization. They're probably just going to make it feel a little bit more like you can align with those things because your team is committing to those set of values every day. So your homework is to create your personal values crest. This is mine. I will tell you what it says. I know what that one means.
I've got family and running.
I see. Yeah.
And what's this one?
I don't. Oh, that's
That's
family.
family. What's this one?
Running. Health.
Running. Oh, I thought that's what this one was.
No, that's outdoors and
Outdoorsy.
I don't remember what the book is about.
Reading?
Knowledge?
Learning?
I don't feel like I remember that's what it is, but we're gonna say that's what it is. So
It's definitely a book.
yeah, I know. I mean, I know it's a book. I just am not.
Must be learning.
Must be.
They're kind of into learning.
So this is my family. They are very
Aw, they're
important
so
to me.
cute.
This is muscles.
Oh, is that what that is?
It's okay. So here's the rule about the values crest. You must draw. You must. That's Ganesh.
That's who?
Ganesh. It's the Buddhist the guy Ganesh, the perseverance.
God?
The god.
Perseverance?
Thank you, God of perseverance.
Oh. Is it an elephant?
It's the elephant with the 3 eyes.
Oh,
Yes,
gotcha.
that's what it is. It just looks like a really poorly drawn phallic symbol. It's not. That's
No,
not.
I didn't look at that. Well, yeah, I guess now that you say
Yeah.
that.
Well, they're looking at it and thinking it, so I may as well say it out loud. So, family, and then this is like health, strength,
fitness.
perseverance, running. This is outdoors. It just being outdoors, whether it's working or running or playing with kids. And
As long
this,
as it's not windy.
as long
We
as
all know.
yeah, we all know
Windy.
Meg is that's garbage, windy garbage. And this is the pursuit of information or education, knowledge, understanding, reading. I like to do all that stuff.
She's an intellectual.
Yep. So that is my personal values crest. So you have to draw it. You can write. You can write words next to it to explain what it is.
So you don't forget
So
what you're
you
drawing.
don't forget, or so other people looking at it don't think it's a phallic symbol. They actually think it's an elephant with 3 eyes. But you have to draw.
Have to draw.
And then you hang it up in your space, in your office, your cubicle, your actual office, your wherever you work. And then people start to ask you questions about that. And it's important because those are the things those core values are what make us really who we are. Those are the things that drive us. Those are the things that drive us crazy if they're not being met. And so who better to know those things about you than the people you work with, the people who have to be around you all of the time. They have not chosen to be around you, and you have not chosen to be around them necessarily. Not like a spouse or a child. That's not a choice either. Anyway. Well, she's got headphones on. I'm kidding. So those people need to understand what's important to you and what is not negotiable. Like Rachel knows that, or I shouldn't say Rachel knows, we understand, Bob and Rachel and I all understand that our health, wellness, exercise, eating right, however that shows up for each one of us, that's all very important to all of us. And that our families are very important to all of us. And so we have promised that we give each other a lot of grace in those areas because they're really important to us. And so if I say, man, it is beautiful outside, I got to go for a run. Rachel's like, all right, cool. We have a lot of stuff to do. So when you get done, call me because we have a lot of stuff to do.
And I think you are crazy to go running for 12 miles or whatever it is she's done running for. That is part of the internal dialogue.
Yes. So you do personal values crest, and then you can do a values crest with your whole team. Teams are a great place to start because, like I said, it's nice to have big understand what the big values are of the organization, but if they're not really resonating with what your team needs to be doing, so if the organization has a value of quality customer service, let's say, and then I'm just thinking that's not really a value, but that is a value an organization would put down. So quality customer service, but you're in the IT department, and let's say you're the head of the IT department. You're Joe. Yeah, we met Joe. Yeah, we met Joe. You're Joe. You're in charge of the IT department. You've said, hey, geez, what am I supposed to do about this? Great place to put down some words about what the core values are of your IT team. How are they going to live up to those expectations and values? What does that actually look like on a day-to-day basis?
And remember, it's not just about the values, it's about what are the behaviors that lead to or reflect those values. So in the Joe example, it might be, to Meg's earlier analogy, your customer is the rest of the staff. And so high quality care for them might feel a little different than high quality care to external customers, but really a lot of parallels there. Like you want to honor their time, get them up and running faster, all of the other things. And so a lot of times it's just identifying the behaviors that relate to that value. And if frankly those values don't translate at all, like one of the things we've seen is cost savings is a value. Well, that doesn't really mean, we don't understand what behaviors that means. So what are the behaviors you want from each place, each department, each person, each team to reflect saving money? That's not really a value, FYI. It's a horrible thing to ever have. But if you can't figure out what your behavior is that aligns with that value, then perhaps it's time to create your own team value as just a measure of alignment.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we need to tackle?
Well, questions for the day or the week.
There you go.
Okay, so the one that got the most love was Meg and Rachel. What does RGI's values crest look like? Yep. So people first. The way I always say it, but I like people first better. I always say leveraging the energy of the people in your organization
Internally.
Yeah. So people first, providing value, and then fun and philanthropy are four values.
We do have it drawn somewhere, to your earlier point about drawing it. I don't think you have one handy.
Yeah, well, I have a picture of it probably from when we've done it.
I think the energy was a lightning bolt.
Yeah, energy is a lightning bolt. Fun is balloons and fireworks.
Probably. Yeah, that sounds right.
Philanthropy is a music note and a book because she likes to support music, arts.
And the arts.
I like to support education of youth. And let's see, leveraging energy was it on? Oh, providing value.
Right. Probably money.
Yeah.
Scales.
Yeah. Okay. How long should my values crest be? I think we covered that. A picture or two with some words to say what it is, because if you're not an artist, Bob's wife's the only one I know that probably wouldn't need words.
Right. By the way, we should put the 15 questions or whatever that is on the Facebook page.
Yeah, we could definitely.
Because, it's really easy to say, my family's the most important thing. But then, is it really? And not that family necessarily is a bad answer, but it's really tempting to sort of pick the obvious or popular or what everyone else might say or expect you to say answer. It might be that my family is absolutely number one for me. Some people's faith is number one. Some people's don't have kids, and so maybe it's their health.
Health is the number one we see quite a bit.
Health, dogs,
work, career, sometimes
education. I love to travel. That's definitely on my values list because it encompasses a bunch of things: growth, development, interest. I'm a chaos person, so it's about the max chaos you can actually get in any particular situation. So those are things that I love too. So don't necessarily take the easy way out and say, oh, well, it's family, faith, and blah, 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 whatever. Career, really do some thought about it, and we'll post that 15 question graphic So you guys can use it to start considering what your value, how to actually think about deriving your values in a more thoughtful way.
Yes, and facilitation trick. When you do this with your teams, do not tell them what yours is first, because they will just they'll be like, oh well, Joe, the head of IT, really thinks his family, faith, and career are the three most important things, and I really want a promotion, so I'm going to do whatever Joe says because Joe's going to give me a promotion then. Because unfortunately, this is the way brains work. So don't tell them what you've already put down. And they'll like, the organizers and stabilizers are going to ask a ton of questions. Well, what should it look like? And what about this? And what about that?
I didn't know I was going to have to draw for that.
Oh yeah, I didn't know I was going to have to draw. So don't give them any of the answers up front. You just use this 15-ish or whatever question thought generator, and have them answer those, and then put down what their 4 core values are.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that, because the last time I did this with the team, I actually overheard somebody say in the corner as they were working in their small group, you can't use all of hers, because they kept listing all the ones because I'd said them. They thought they were great ideas, right? Or they pulled words from other parts of our workshop, and we're reusing them in this values crest way. So sometimes it's best to go in there without any context and have them do it at the beginning, because otherwise what you say is highly influential. So.
Yes. Well, the last question is, what makes a good values crest and what makes a bad one? I think we have aptly covered that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what? I didn't do announcements here. We forgot. Or I guess we started together, but I forgot about announcements. So do we have any?
Sure, we got a ton.
Rachel will be facilitating a workshop on project management, guiding organizational change, and also project management boot camp the week of March 4th
through the 8th. That's in Rapid City for those of you who are local. Of course, if you're far away, you can always fly in if you want. But it's an awesome week. It will literally change the way that you view projects and tackling. A lot of people, when you have a really big thing that you want to pull off, or a really big project, you just don't even know where to start. A quick story. I bought an old farmhouse on the edge of town and tore it down to its studs and built it back up to an actual livable house with like indoor plumbing and stuff like that. And they said, so many people, probably 2 or 3 dozen people now have said, oh, my husband and I talked about doing that, but we wouldn't have known where to start. And that's all about figuring out how to take one bite at a time, right? Like, here's this huge amount of work. How do you even begin? How do you schedule it? How do you know how much money it's going to cost? Is it something you even want to do? All of those kind of questions. And then how do you actually keep it going on and to accomplish what you want to do on time? So it's really, really a fun class. It's all interactive. It's definitely workshop based in the sense of I instruct a little bit of the basics, but then really we turn you loose into a simulation that runs the rest of the time you're there. And it's really, we want you to learn by doing, and so it's a really hands-on class too. So that's March 4th through the 8th in Rapid. I'm also going to be in Atlanta next week delivering a workshop for an executive team there. So if you are in the Atlanta area, let me know. We've already got several other friends and colleagues of the Rose Group. We have a board member, an advisory board member that lives down there that I'm going to be connecting with, but happy to find you for a cup of coffee or a glass of wine or something while I'm there. And then I'm also going to be at Portland at the end of the week. So I'm flying right from Atlanta to Portland. God, I hope I get upgraded on that flight. So I'll be in the Portland area Thursday and Friday of next week. Also, if you're going to be out there, let me know. What other things we got going on? You have your Denver class, workshop.
Yes, so let's see. In order of dates,
There's a lot of stuff going on.
I will be in Pierre at the beginning of March, and then I will be in Clearwater, Florida.
The 12th.
The 12th, and then I will be in Denver doing a IX leadership class the week of the 19th. And then
the 19th and 20th, right? The 2-day leadership class,
Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday at 19th and 20th in Denver.
Yep. And then
I'll be in Vegas for the Hero Club event. So if you're going to be down in Vegas the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, let me know. I will be in Vegas then.
Yep. And then
where am I going?
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, you're
For
speaking
the
at
Women's
the
Business
Women's
Conference.
Business Conference.
Keynoting that
Is that the
conference.
27th?
29th.
29th. Oh, that's the day of my concert.
I know.
My choir
I'm so
concert.
sad I'm going to miss your concert.
And I'm so sad I can't come to Aberdeen with you.
I know.
You're going to rock it, man.
Well, I might. I guess maybe I would be back.
When are you speaking?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, if you speak at like 10 a.m.
Well, I think I have two. One in the morning, one in the afternoon.
Oh, you're doing 2 sessions.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anywho,
sorry.
No, it's cool. And
No,
so
I'm
anyway,
telling them sorry.
I know,
not you.
and I'm saying
Oh.
it's fine. You don't mind. Actually, I'm going to be in Brookings too, Brookings, South Dakota, for my alma mater, SDSU, South Dakota State. I got my bachelor's degree in geography, and they've asked me back to speak at their 50th annual SDSU Geography Convention. So I'm going to be there on the 15th of March also. So that would be awesome. So yeah, we got lots and lots of stuff going on. So, but we're always interested in new clients, new opportunities, new support. If your organization or any organizations that you interface with think you can use, the range of our services or insight, delighted to do that. We're actually speaking with the Sturgis Chamber of Commerce on the 22nd, doing an hour with their board here in town. So that'll be fun.
Yes. Also, if you guys have any suggestions for things that you want to hear more about during the lives, let us know. Tag Michelle Stampy in those posts. She manages the logistics and generates all the poll questions and what goes on for that. So if there's anything that you are really interested in knowing about, and even if you think, oh my gosh, it's not a whole topic, or they couldn't talk on this for a whole 45 minutes, that's fine. Whatever it is, if you have questions.
You'd be surprised what we can talk about for 45 minutes.
You probably wouldn't. Those of you who are listening right now, you probably wouldn't. But we're certainly open to any suggestions or questions, topics that you want to cover. So I think that's it for now.
Do it.
Lead powerfully.
Change the world. See you next week.